Welcome to JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Richard Boxing and Limitless Creations. And with me now, I've got the sugar-free boxer, Luke Byrne and Ender.
Full of sugar, who shouldn't be, and
Full of sugar.
type 2, type 2. Man, I'm so fat. He's so fat. Fatty, fatty, fat, fat.
Anyway, coming on for another prediction show. We've got an interesting one here, which has divided a lot of people. Some people still don't even think we should class him as a boxer. Some people are starting to accept him as one. We've got Jake Paul versus Hasim Rahman Jr. But before we get into it, we're going to have a little bit of this.
Have it.
Are you ready?
Right, lads. Jake Paul, 5 fights, 5 wins, 4 knockouts. Regardless of the opponent, you can only beat who's in front of you. Agreed?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Hasim Rahman Jr., 13 fights, 12 wins, 6 knockouts. Not the original fight that was planned.
I think this is a better fight.
Personally, I'm with you, Ender. We look at, it was supposed to be Tommy Fury. We've heard all sorts of different things. Let's be honest, we don't know what's what at the end of the day because we don't know. But
he should stick to Love Island.
Sounds bullshit.
Scripted reality
personally.
seems to be him.
I think it's for fear of being knocked out when you've spoken up a fight too much, in my
It's
opinion.
for fear of being knocked out because he's only going by his name and that's it.
KK has jumped in. What's up, JG and Associates? Thank you very much for tuning in. Let us know your prediction on the fight as well. Let us know in the comments. Who's taking this one first?
I'm going to go first.
Wow, go for it.
Because I'm bulling in now. I'm doing like a Boris Johnson, just going to barge in and just throw my weight around and then fuck off when I've made a mess of everything.
Anyway, go on then.
Don't get political, Enda. I always get political. So we've got Hasim Rahman Jr., who is a much, much better opponent. He's a boxer. He has got a legitimate record.
Yep.
Than that Fury freak, whoever he is.
Well, yeah, more tried and tested. 13 fights, 12 wins.
Yeah, like absolutely. And Jake Paul, I was never a fan, and we were talking about this before, and I was never a fan. But Jake Paul has really worn the fucking shirt, trousers, and the gum shield, and he's got in there and he's fought and he's done everything he wants to do. And I think now he wants to fight more legitimate boxers. And this is why I think he's gone for Hasim Rahman Jr. Because obviously his promotion company, they need a name, so he's the son of a world champion, so that's why it's him. But he is a far more legitimate boxer than that bloody Love Island model ever was. So props to Jake Paul for taking this.
Yeah.
However,
definitely.
props to him. I think Jake Paul is going to win this. I think Jake Paul, we've seen by him, he has got great power. You know, I mean, like, no matter who you're fighting, to knock them out the way he knocks them out, you need to have power in those shots. And he has power in the shots.
And he puts the training in, you know.
He certainly does.
In good condition. He's
bought into the boxing. As we saw as we have seen with Amanda Serrano. He's invested in boxing. He's part of boxing now. He is there for the long haul. And he knows his name is power, you know, in the social media world, which is taken over now. And he helped Amanda Serrano promote that fight and made it so big. So big. You know, I mean, Eddie Hearn can take all the credit he wants. But without Jake Paul, he wouldn't have done as much as he did. You know, it wouldn't have done all those numbers. But I think Jake Paul, because of his investment in boxing and because how seriously he takes boxing, I think Jake Paul is going to win this by knockout, and it's going to be in the second half of the fight. I don't know how many rounds is this? 10, 6, 8?
I'm guessing 8.
Yeah, right. So I'd say it'll be between rounds 4 and 6. I'll say it'll be a Jake Paul stoppage.
8 rounds at cruiserweight.
Yeah, so Jake Paul stoppage rounds 4 to 6 is what I'm going for. Win by stoppage.
Okay.
Just to say, coming in, we've got the Peaky Blinder, Jake Paul, to win. and KK
And
Hasim
by
will
the way,
fall in 8
if he was
rounds or
fighting,
less.
Fury, it would be over in 2 rounds.
Wow.
He would have knocked Fury out much sooner. So I don't mean this. Oh well, if he was fighting Fury, it would go longer. It wouldn't have. Hasim Rahman Jr. is much better opponent. I just think Jake Paul has taken boxing seriously and deserves the plaudits. So, however far Hasim Rahman goes, Fury wouldn't have gone as far. That's my 2 cents.
Cool. Luke.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Enda on the outcome of the fight.
Bloody hell.
I do think Jake Paul is going to win now. One thing I'll say about Jake Paul's career versus Hasim Rahman's career. Now, not at the same level of fighters as Jake Paul fought in a boxing ring, but the difference is they've all come to win. Hasim Rahman in his 13 fights has fought one man who's come to win, and he won that fight. That man did. Rahman got beat. Now, I see here as well, it's at cruiserweight, but it's at 190 pounds. It's not at the 200 pounds weight limit. So that means Rahman is going to have to weigh in lighter than he's ever weighed in a professional boxing ring. So that could have a bit of an effect 6 weeks out from the fight. You know, who knows what weight he is. He has to get
I'm
down
sure
to
there'll be an
190.
allowance if he doesn't make it, though.
He'll be fine to fuck.
Yeah, but
It won't be worth his money then. So
I'm sure
I think now one thing that intrigues me about Rahman is, from what I've seen of him, he likes to switch. So that could be something that
novices that switch annoy me.
Thanks, but
you're not a novice.
But Rahman switches, and that could confuse Jake Paul, whether or not it's briefly or whether it's for the whole fight. He could switch hit. I think it's going to be a cagey opener.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's going to be like 2-3 rounds of feeling each other out, because there's so much on the line for both men. Like, Hasim Rahman is carrying his father's name, who knocked out Lennox Lewis, a great heavyweight of the 90s. So he's carrying that on his shoulders.
And Lennox Lewis corrected that.
Oh, he did, but you can never take away the KO.
No, but at least he went back and he fought him again.
Absolutely. But Jake Paul then is carrying the pressure of being who he is, having all the eyeballs on him. And the big talk he's been doing, saying he's going to be a world champion, saying he's going to fight Canelo in 3 years' time. All this talk, but he's backed everything up he said so far, and I commend him, because he's getting in the ring with a much better opponent than he was going to be facing in Tommy Fury. Rahman and Fury, you can't even put them in the same stratosphere as far as boxing's concerned. Rahman has grown up in the Mayweather gym, in the doghouse. Whether you agree with that or not, that toughens a man up, and that lets you know what you're all about. And Fury's not had a gut check like that, whether it's sparring or in a real fight. No matter what John Fury says,
I think one time, though,
the
tanning boots fell on him heavily, so.
Well, that would toughen you up.
Absolutely.
But
I'd say that's the toughest opponent he had.
Going off what we've seen in the ring, unless Fury was showing nothing, so he'd get the Paul fight, or whether he's just showing nothing because he has nothing to show, we don't know. But I think Rahman is definitely a better opponent. It's going to be a good fight, I think. I think once they mix it up, we're going to see both men take big shots. And we've seen against Tyron Woodley, when Paul got caught, he didn't panic. He actually has good instincts, fighting instincts. Discipline.
He literally automatically went to the ropes to know that it was gonna be put on him.
He has one of those things that you can't teach. It's one of the intangibles of boxing, and it's bottle. You can't teach bottle. Someone gets hit, you either panic or you grit your teeth, you bite down your gum shield, you fight. He does the second part of that. I think we're going to have to see him do that. He might get dropped against Rahman, but I do think he will rally back, and I think his fitness will play into it. And I think if it goes to the judges, he's going to win. But I think he will actually hurt Rahman a couple of times. Whether he stops him, I don't know, but I think he will drop him. I think he will win the fight.
Cool. Well, it's a tough one, because I spoke to Hasim Rahman Jr., really nice guy, and Jake Paul seems to be coming, the ego is lessening because he's now focused on something as opposed to just being an outlandish kid. And I think now that, like Ender was saying, he's invested in boxing, he's doing good things for women's boxing. I think credit where credit's due. And I think Amanda Serrano now has that platform that she deserves as well. And yeah, I'm excited for what he's doing. And if he doesn't do it as a boxer, he's sure as hell going to do it as a promoter. So
oh yeah,
he's got that factor regardless.
And he's got the
I think he'll
21st century social media.
Yeah, he
persona.
knows what he's doing, and
Exactly.
I think Jake Paul wins. As you say, I think it's a case of breaking him down, and I reckon it's in that sort of 5 to 6 rounds. I think Jake Paul, like Ender was saying, he's got great power, and he really does show it when he bashes. He really took out Tyrone Woodley. He knocked him out cold. Whether you turn around and say, "Oh, it was all fixed. It was all this. It was all that." You can't fix something like
No,
that.
that was all bullshit.
You still
mate.
got to take that punch, whether it's fixed or not.
Exactly.
And he delivered. So yeah, I think it's a Jake Paul fight. I think it goes 6 fights, 6 wins.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think
we'll see
KK.
where Tommy Fury's balls are at.
Yeah, I think KK has given his prediction as well there in the chat.
Yeah, he's put Hasim Rahman will fall in 8 rounds or less. So yeah, it's literally it's one of those.
Yeah, but I think it's a measure of the man that he is bought over, even skeptical, and I'm as skeptical as they come. Boxing people that really don't like celebrities boxing weren't a fan of it, but he's not just doing the glossy bit at the start and dancing around like a fool. He's actually invested it and taken to boxing and gotten part of it. So he's
taken
given it his all.
YouTube status, and he's
used his publicity,
and he's put himself in a position now though where bloody hell he's fighting at Madison Square Garden.
Exactly.
That's my point too. Like, unlike most novice pros, he has fought people every time they've come to win. Now, they weren't able to win, but they came to win. He's fought no journeyman. He's fought no one trying to survive. He's fought no one trying to just do the rounds and fight again next week. He's come fighting lads who want to take his head off. Now, whether that's against Ben Askren or Woodley or the basketball player, I can't even remember his name, but whether it's against any,
he can't even remember his own name anymore.
Well, that's true. They've all come to win, and that's the difference. Like, he has had to fight where there's stakes, and there's stakes again this time round, and I respect him for that.
100%.
And I think he's putting his balls on the line here, and it's a very real fight.
I hope he wears
and
a cup.
You won't find any other five fight novices fighting someone with more fights than them, more wins than them, more KOs than they've had fights. It's a very intriguing affair, and he gets the confidence from sparring with Rockman a couple of years ago.
There you go.
Yeah,
I thought Jake Paul was
even KK is just.
I didn't think he would last this long, but the guy is for real, and I think that's
Well, I think he's done what a lot of people
really
have done. He's tasted boxing and he realized I fucking like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
but that's my prediction, anyways. And I actually do genuinely look forward to watching it because I'm intrigued.
So do I. It's the first celebrity boxing match that I'm actually going to watch. Live.
Yeah.
I've obviously seen highlights of the others, but I'll watch this one live. And I think we should do a JG's Fight Talk watch along.
If we can, we will.
Well, but some of us will.
Like I say, let us know. Leave us your predictions. Leave us your predictions in the comments. Let us know how you see this one. Are you still not seeing Jake Paul as a professional boxer? Let us know in the comments. Are you gonna watch?
And who would you like to see Jake Paul fight after this?
Yeah, I don't think we can overlook this one. But
no, I know that, but he will fight again.
Oh, he will. He will.
So I'm just saying, I'm not saying like. Yes, you call out Jake Paul.
We've already sorted out your hashtag for Twitter, so don't you worry about that. So until next time,
Babbage and Jake Paul, is that the one?
Luke, thank you very much for joining us as always. Ender,
No matter, boys.
thank you very much.
No problem.
I will see you soon. Have some
And
of
it's
this.
cold
See you
now,
there, lads.
so I want to put on my jacket.
Are you